Hello once again, YouTube. This is Meme Skull, and I have another deck profile for you guys. This one is one of my more fun commanders, Miirym Sentinel Wyrm. So, just before I was recording, I was looking for the Misrise lands, and I couldn't find them. I did find one in my Animar, but I know I had other copies somewhere, so I gotta look for those at some point, because I need them for other decks. So, as you may know, Miirym, Sentinel Wyrm, he requires 3 and a green, a blue, and a red. He has flying in Ward 2, and whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So this is really good, and allows us to go crazy with dragons, especially Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks is my favorite card in this deck. So let's move this aside and start off with the creatures. Starting off, we have Ancient Copper Dragon, Ancient Silver Dragon, Astral Dragon, which in its of itself is like an infinite combo paired with another card. Yes. Displacer Kitten, Dragon Lord Servant, Earthquake Dragon, Janax, and Astral Hunter, really good. Goldspan Dragon, Hellkite Tyrant, Cloth Unraveled Ancient. We can essentially go infinite with this, have infinite combats, and we get mana as well. Old Gnawbone, Roaming Throne to double up on our triggers. Sakashima to make copies. Sarkhan, he's a cost reducer. Savage Ventmaw also helps us go infinite. We get 6 mana, which we can use to cast other things, especially give ourselves infinite combat phases, which is really good. Scourge of Valkas, Spark Double, Tamir Battlecrier. I did have the other cost reducer that reduces it by 2, is the Goblin, but since that's 3 mana for 1 and 2 red, I decided to swap it out for this one, which is it costs green, a blue, and a red. During your turn, spells you cast, spells, it's not just creatures, cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, and that ends up spiraling out of control and makes our dragons even cheaper, and we just gotta pay the colored mana, which is amazing. Next, Terror of the Peaks, best card in the deck, self-explanatory as to what he does. Twin Flame Tyrant, double up on the damage we deal to our opponent through our Terror's effect. Utvara Hellkite, he just gets us more bodies on the board. And Wrathful Red Dragon, whenever a dragon we control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to a target that isn't a dragon. So we could play, we could have a whole board of dragons, play Blasphemous Act, and kill off all our opponents. Next, we have our artifacts. This deck is one of my more expensive decks, as you are going to tell by the artifacts. I have Arcane Signet, Conjurer's Closet, Cursed Mirror, Herald's Horn, Jade Ord of Dragonkind, Panharmonicon, Soul Ring, Sword of Feast and Famine, the Great Henge, Reaver Cleaver, and Urza's Incubator. Now for the instances, we have Counterspell, Cyclonic Rift, Deflecting Swat, Essence Flux, Fierce Guardianship, Force of Vigor, Heroic Intervention, Kindred Summons, Mana Drain, Reality Shift, and Worldly Tutor. So for the sorceries, we have quite less by comparison. We have Blasphemous Act. This is like just an instant win if we have a full board of dragons with the other dragon that with Wrathful. So that's really good card. Farseek, this searches out any lands. You don't want to have the ones that search your basics, because there are cards that are better. Encroaching Dragonstorm is an option. I just couldn't find the room for it, but it would be insane once you get a means of getting infinite mana. You just cast a dragon, bounce it back, play it again, and you're thinning your deck out of the basic lands with that alone, and that's incredible. I just didn't have the space for it, unfortunately. We have Vile Duplication. This creates a token copy of a creature we control, except it isn't legendary and it has flying. Just cause will, self-explanatory what that does. Nature's Lore and 3 visits for the ramp, because dragons are expensive. Until we get to the enchantments. Starting off, we have Aggravated Assault, and I realize I did go real fast through the creatures. I apologize about that. Aggravated Assault. This we can essentially get infinite combat steps with our dragons that give us mana when they attack, and just end the game there. Doubling Season, self-explanatory. Our commander creates tokens. This is going to make double of that. Dracogenesis. This is one of the newer cards from Dragonstorm. For 6 and 2 red, it's an enchantment. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. So it's essentially Rooftop Storm, but for dragons. Dragon Tempest. For 1 and a red. This has whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until the end of the turn. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. So that does also snowball, and that's basically an enchantment version of Valkus. I think I pronounced the name wrong, but you know the guy. Next we have Garruk's Uprising. This just helps us draw more into our deck. When it enters the battlefield, if we control a creature with power 4 or greater, we draw a card. Creatures we control have trample, so we can just get over any flyers that are annoying, or reachers. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under our control, we draw a card. Card draw is always good. Kindred Discovery. For 3 and 2 blue, as it enters, we choose a creature type, in this case dragon. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, we draw a card. Really good. Lurking Predators. For 4 and 2 blue, 2 green, my bad. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of a library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put that card on the bottom of your library. So this just helps us get our dragons out for free. And it punishes our opponents for playing the game. Monstrous Vortex. For 3 and 1 green. Whenever we cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. So this just helps us get out more board presence. Omniscience. This is Dracogenesis, but for all the spells in our hands. 7 and 3 greens. You may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Parallel Lives. More tokens. For 3 and a green, if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice as many of those tokens instead. Really good. Reflections of Lichara. Also a really good card. 4 and a blue. As it enters, we choose a creature type, dragons. When you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. Sneak Attack. This is really good for getting out our dragons a lot cheaper. 3 and a red. This you want to usually use when you're definitely know you're going to end the game. For 1 red mana, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Sacrifice the creature at the beginning of the next end step. Tamir Ascendancy. For Tamir, creatures you control have haste. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. And lastly, Warstorm Surge. For 5 and a red. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. And that's really good. For the lands, we have Bonder's Enclave, Cinderglade, Command Tower, Dreamroot Cascade, Fiery Islet, a couple of forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forests. Haven of the Spirit Dragon, Hinterland Harbor. We have 3 islands. Ketria Triumph, Mistrise Village. This is the card that I was referring to in the previous deck profile of Niv Mizzet. This land enters tapped unless you control a mountain or forest. Here we have both of those, so it'll most likely enter in untapped. We tap it to add a blue, or we could pay a blue and tap it. The next spell we cast this turn cannot be countered. Really good. So if you're playing decks that run a blue and either or, you're either mountain or forest, you want to play this. That's a no-brainer. We have 4, 5, 6 mountains. Path of Ancestry, Rejuvenating Springs, Reliquary Tower, Rockfall Vale, Rootbound Crag, Spire Garden, Steam Vents, Stomping Ground, Storm Carved Coast, Sulphur Falls, Training Center, and Waterlogged Grove. And that rounds up this deck profile. If you have any suggestions you'd like to make, leave comments down below. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel and want to watch more content like this. And I will see you all in the next video.